Humanity and nature, two forces engulfed in a never-ending ballet. Their equilibrium is the rhythm that shapes the world. Cities rise and fall, monsters emerge and die. A precarious balance that defines the two spheres. And just how monsters have their trump cards to tip the scales, so too does humanity wield a spear in its vanguard. Not a weapon, but a place. A fortress city that withstands any adversity, standing proud in the distant wilds. The town of Dundorma. Much of our continent, which we now call the Old World, is covered by the frontier, a zone in which the influence of humanity is limited, and where beasts and wyverns rule is ironclad. Out there, in the deep wilderness, lies a body of water known as the Geocrux Sea. On its northern shores, harsh winds batter steep mountain cliffs, as swamps lie to the west and a wasteland stretches out to the east. This ragged valley that lies between the sea and the mountains was known as the Ancient Land, a place where the beauty and the cruelty of nature met. It was in this place that an indigenous tribe of Wyverians, whose name has long since been lost to time, chose to build their home. Where others only saw hardship, they saw the bounty of a world that rewarded labor and effort, with a haven out in the wilds. As the wind clawed at them, they built windmills to borrow its strength. As stone cliffs rejected them, they carved houses and lives into its rocky flesh. As the dark waters of the sea glared at them with abyssal eyes, they molded its flow to enhance their lives. Nature challenged them, and the indigenous people stood victorious, having built a settlement in the Ancient Land whose name would ring through the annals of history: Dundorma. Very little knowledge remains of the earliest days of Dundorma. The town is believed to have been relatively peaceful at this time, but it, like all settlements in the frontier, lacked any meaningful protections against monster attacks. In the center of town lay a large prayer hall, where the people begged the skies for a merciful season where wyverns and dragons did not devour their loved ones. But this changed with the appearance of one indigenous man, a wyverian of large stature that saw not just the present and past of Dundorma, but whose gaze was set on a future of safety and prosperity. Once this man became the leader of his town, he enacted sweeping reforms that changed the face of Dundorma forever. His first order was to abolish the prayer hall and claim it as the headquarters of his new government. The message couldn't have been more clear. Dundorma was done asking for help from the sun and the stars. The city would build its own future, under the watchful eye of the man that would come to be known as the Great Elder. To say that the guidance of the Great Elder was transformative to Dundorma would be a grotesque understatement. Every aspect of the town was touched by his wisdom. The Great Elder identified Dundorma's biggest issue as the random appearances of monsters, especially elder dragons. For unclear reasons, these powerful walking natural disasters appear in the vicinity of Dundorma with disturbing frequency, threatening to upend the town each time. Thus, the first reforms to the town aimed to minimize these risks. Through ingenuity and blacksmithing prowess, fortifications were erected all across the town, capable of repelling dragons if operated correctly. Additionally, the Great Elder declared certain regions around Dundorma to be monster interception zones, areas dedicated to stop the advance of approaching monsters through the use of heavy artillery and traps. The most impressive of these installations is the Battle Quarters, which to this day functions as the last line of defense for the town. But maybe the most impactful mandate of the Great Elder was the creation of a certain organization. In these distant times, there were some scattered efforts to predict the movements of elder dragons. Diviners and researchers from across the frontier were trying to unravel their behaviors, but working in isolation as they were, their findings and subsequent impacts were minuscule. The Great Elder saw their wasted potential and summoned all such dragon seers to Dundorma. There, he made a declaration. All dragon seers would be invited to join a new research institute dedicated to tracking and studying elder dragons, in an effort to coordinate and combine their skills. Many of the summoned scholars accepted the offer and formed the organization that is today known as the Dragon Watch. Using a mixed approach between unearthing lost records about elder dragons and surveying their movements from the skybound dragon balloons, the Dragon Watch has since then created a veritable canon of elder dragon research, and its ability to forewarn Dundorma of any threatening monster activity is near legendary. And so, under the guidance of the Great Elder, Dundorma flourished, becoming a safe haven in the wild frontier. The palace inhabited by the Great Leader became known far and wide as the Elder Hall, from which the Great Elder led Dundorma to prosperity. The Elder himself was also not merely a distant throne warmer, but a ruler that directly helped wherever he could. It is said that in one incident, he personally faced a Lao Shanlong in battle and split its skull with his trusty blade. A story that seems feasible once one witnesses the man's enormous stature. This reputation of safety and strength allowed the town to grow, soon becoming quite formidable. And then, monster hunters emerged. Spurred on by an incident in which a single Wyverian defeated a powerful monster in single combat, people all over the frontier began to band together with the sole purpose of fighting back against beast and wyvern alike. It was this movement that gave rise to the concept of hunters' guilds, organizations that specialize in repelling, slaying, and even capturing monsters. Being a wise and sensible leader, the Great Elder saw this as the turning of the tide, and resolved to let Dundorma ride this wave into the future. He established the Dundorman branch of the Hunters Guild, and centered its structure around a two-tier system. The basic operations of the Dundorma Guild are organized from within the local tavern, where guild administrators work alongside baristas to offer quests and drinks alike. Higher level jobs and research, however, are exclusively conducted in the Elder Hall, and only hunters of a certain caliber are allowed to ascend the stairs to take on these mighty assignments from the Great Elder himself. This structure solves multiple problems at once. Situating the main office of the guild in a tavern takes advantage of a natural meeting place and keeps morale high. Using bars and restaurants as headquarters has in fact since become the norm for hunters' guilds all over the world. The existence of the Elder Hall then serves as a goal for aspiring hunters, giving them a grand achievement to work towards, imagining themselves entering those famed halls as heroes. At the same time, differentiating between tavern quests and hall quests naturally kept rookies away from taking on assignments that would certainly lead them to their doom. As hunters' guilds grew in prominence around the world, so too did Dundorma. The Great Elder convinced a large number of hunters to pledge themselves to the protection of the city and its laws, designating them as a special type of guild knight dedicated to defending the city, called Guardians. This special squadron mans the cannons and handles evacuations during Elder Dragon appearances, and Dundorma is one of only 2 frontier cities to be able to maintain such a standing military force. Equally important was the Elders' establishment of monster part trading systems, which allowed the Hunters Guild to funnel resources, and thus funds, into the town's economy. Due to these and other factors, Dundorma is now one of the most prosperous cities in the frontier, broadly considered the capital of hunters' guilds and of monster hunting on this continent. As a natural fortress that withstands monster attacks and benefits from the nature around it, hunters flock to Dundorma day and night. Through the help of a local blacksmithing guild, numerous technological advancements have been made in this town that continue to benefit people around the world. For example, the Dragonator, a mechanized giant spear that can seriously injure elder dragons, was invented here, and the first version of this weapon was broadly considered a key symbol of Dundorma until it went missing many years ago. Meanwhile, the Dragon Watch has integrated itself into the Hunters Guild and collaborates closely with it. This collaboration allows numerous secondary research efforts to emerge, such as the Frenzy Virus Research Institute, which unraveled the mysteries of a dark blight that afflicted the lands during the Magala incident. But perhaps the greatest testament to Dundorma's strength is the mere fact of its continued existence. Just as in the ancient past, elder dragons and other powerful monsters appear at Dundorma's gates frequently, and while the city's defenses can generally repel them, they rarely do so without sustaining some damage. But the tenacity of this town knows no bounds. Time and again, the Dundorman people rebuild their fortifications, reinforce their homes, and revitalize their resolve to face the wilderness. And for that, the city and its people are respected and renowned across all hunters' guilds and their territories. The Dundorma of today, of course, has more to offer than just the girth of its defensive installations. The central square is the beating heart of the town, where commerce of all kinds flourishes. From tools to materials to produce, most of what the heart desires can be found for sale in Dundorma Square. Looking around the city from here, one can spot various red and green ornaments that adorn various buildings. These are religious symbols. While the prayer hall was closed and transformed into the Elder Hall long ago, different faiths still reside in this town. One such religion holds the Rathian and Rathalos sacred, worshipping them as symbols of nature's blessings, and decorating their houses with the wyvern's colors. The city also offers various recreational facilities. The tavern, for example, has barrels for arm wrestling, and even a shooting range for bored travelers. But Dundorma's most famous establishment is without a doubt the arena. Here, various challenges await idle hunters that truly test their mettle. Rarely, this arena even hosts a one-of-a-kind event called the Grand Tournament, where hunters can pit monsters they have captured against other competitors. And as one decompresses at night from the excitement of the day, one may find one's soul touched by the gentle voice resounding through these halls. For at night, Dundorma's diva performs her songs. Even among the varied Wyverian race, divas are quite rare. These chosen children are bestowed with the gift of the voice and undergo years of special training once their unique traits manifest. The end result of this is a Wyverian songstress whose voice transcends the usual qualities of mere song and stirs the heart and soul directly. It is said that the lands in which a diva's voice resounds experience prosperity and happiness, which for a long time led to these women being worshipped by many. Nowadays, divas are broadly considered highly talented and exclusive performers rather than religious icons, but some still believe in their voices carrying some otherworldly power. And so, Dundorma stands tall in the wilderness, its walls sturdy, its spirit merry. In a land where humanity often meets bitter failure, the town remains a shining example of what success in the wild frontier looks like. There are many more stories to tell from the frontier lands, of hope and hardship, life and death. But those will have to wait for another time. Thank you all so much for watching, as always, and a very big thank you to all of the people supporting the channel on Patreon and YouTube channel members. I would like to especially thank Kogath, Mr. Gayballs, Symphony Savior, British Empire, Just a Hunter, Meta Defiance, Resident Necoarch, Autumns, Anjanath Tamer's Ambience, Wandering Soul, Stormbreaker Kai, Joshua Ellison, Uthduna is an Octopus, Chocolate Coat, Pre-Coom King, Joey Tribby 58, Makamawi, Uriv, CJ, Called a Crab, Christopher Bronson, Harpir, Molly Mockery, Rose, Zyperius Volkvar, Hamburger Discord, Zaffy, Theopuz, Lufish, Morgulblank, Tacti Wolf, Thyla Zero, Jacob Coleman, Hellbuck Hunter, Shebo, M1 Have 12, Regal Eagle, Wronger 97, Quali, Matt Hat 124, My Name Gone, The Dollarfish, Sheba, Ryan Hook, Veraxis, Thick, Kuroneko, Zion H.V. Augenson, Alistair in Wonderland, Jacob the Numbnut, Soruka, Sir Newt Newt, Evie, Rambling Robin, Lex Aegis, Hashi, Black Ace 202, Dissy, Habo Himbro Mirror, Magenta Magenta, Russell, Vulgar Beast, Person 212, Claire Miboon, Oakwood Tree, Mr. Pyramid, Makot 02, Nils Schlatter, Iron Camel, and Nah, I'm going to bed. Take care everyone, happy hunting, I'll see you soon, bye bye.